But one day, a 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark surfaced at auction and shocked everyone when it sold for over $1 million. Yes, a single penny. A coin most people ignore. A coin that could be in your home, in your pocket right now. And the story behind it is even more unbelievable. Picture this. A small-town collector, someone who didn't consider himself anything more than a casual hobbyist, was sorting change at the kitchen table. Just a quiet evening, nothing special. He ran his thumb across a penny that felt slightly different. Not polished, not shiny, just different. The date caught his eye, 1994. But something else stopped him cold. There was no mint mark under the date. No D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. Just blank.at first, he shrugged. Maybe it meant nothing. Maybe it was just worn down. But curiosity, it has a way of whispering, calling. So he took a closer look. And what he discovered shook the world of coin collecting. Because this penny wasn't missing its mint mark from where. It wasn't rubbed off. It wasn't damaged. It was never stamped with one to begin with. A true minting anomaly. A mint error hidden in plain sight. But what happened next stunned even the most experienced coin experts. The man reached out to a dealer. The dealer examined the coin. Carefully. Slowly. His hands trembled. His voice dropped. He had just confirmed something extraordinary. This was a genuine 1994 no mint mark business strike penny. A coin that wasn't supposed to exist. Collectors were shocked. Dealers were stunned. A penny worth face value had become a life-changing treasure. And when the bidding began, it climbed. Then climbed. And kept climbing. When the hammer finally fell, the price had soared over $1 million. To understand the mystery, we have to go back into the hidden world of the United States Mint. Most people don't realize how much precision goes into every single coin. Every die, every strike, every tiny marking holds meaning. The mint mark tells us where a coin was made. It's like a fingerprint. So when a coin that should have a mint mark is found without one, alarms go off. Was it an overlooked die? This tiny missing detail is why the value skyrockets. Most people never check. Most people never even look. And that is exactly why this story matters. Because while collectors whispered, traders panicked, and auction rooms buzzed with disbelief, the public remained unaware. Millions of people continued to spend 1994 pennies every day, tossing them into change trays, dropping them under couch cushions, sweeping them off countertops without a second thought. And among them could be another one. Maybe more than one. But here is where the story takes its most dramatic turn. After the $1 million sale, a frenzy began. Collectors searched. Dealers spread out across the country like treasure hunters. People dug through jars, boxes, purses, old piggy banks, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores. Some found nothing. Some found coins close, but not close enough. And then, silence that no second confirmed specimen has ever reached the open market with full authentication and documentation. If another one exists, and experts believe it does, the person who finds it next could become the next millionaire overnight. But this is where many collectors make their most critical mistake. They look for perfection. They look for shine. They look for rarity and beauty. But this treasure hides in the ordinary. Your best chance at finding one is not in pristine rolls or dealer cases, but in circulated everyday change. And now, you need to know exactly what to look for. Take a 1994 penny. Flip it under the light. Look at the space directly under the date, just above the rim. If it was struck in Philadelphia, most coins from that year should show no mint mark. But pay attention, the $1 million variety is different. It has specific characteristics. The strike sharpness and die flow lines. The $1 million 1994 no mint mark coin shows an unusually strong, crisp strike. Clear portrait edges, sharp lettering. No sign of rubbing where the mint mark would typically appear. On ordinary no mint mark pennies, the metal flow is softer and less defined. Most circulated examples dull down with wear, but the rare one still shows precise structural detail in Lincoln's coat collar and beard texture and the surfaces. The rare coin has an almost proof-like quality, even when circulated. A subtle mirror sheen in the fields. A texture that stands out immediately once your eye is trained. Most people never notice this. Most dealers overlook it. Even professionals have dismissed coins like this because they assumed they were just normal Philadelphia cents. This is why the person who finds the next one will not be the one with the most money, the most experience, or the biggest coin collection. It will be the person who pays attention, because sometimes history whispers before it screams that "So tonight, go to your junk drawer, your glove compartment, your old coffee can of loose coins, that forgotten jar in the back of the closet. Hold those pennies up to the light. Search slowly, methodically. This is not a lottery. This is a hunt. And the treasure is already in circulation. And if you find one, your entire life could change in an instant. Point one penny. One chance. One miracle hiding in plain sight. There is a 1964 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that has sold for up to $1.2 million. And the most unbelievable part? It didn't come from a museum or a dealer's safe or a private vault. It came from ordinary pocket change. Someone nearly spent it on a cup of coffee. Imagine that for a moment. A coin that almost slipped through someone's fingers, a penny tossed aside, forgotten, but worth more than most houses. This coin has a story. And the deeper you go, the more mysterious, the more unbelievable it becomes. Because the year 1964 was supposed to be simple. A standard issue penny. Billions minted. Nothing remarkable. But hidden among those countless copper cents, something went wrong. Or maybe, something went exactly right that a mint worker may have used the wrong die. A batch of planchets may have been leftovers from an earlier era. A striking pressure adjustment may have produced something the mint never intended to release. The truth remains hazy, almost whispered about among collectors. The government never confirmed it. The mint never acknowledged it. Yet the coin exists. Real. Physical. Worth a fortune. And the moment one surfaced at auction, the room fell silent. It didn't look like a normal penny. The luster shimmered differently. The edges were sharper. The strike was deeper, more defined than any ordinary 1964 Lincoln cent you've ever seen. Collectors leaned closer, whispering. Some had spent decades searching for a coin like this. Others insisted it was a myth, a rumor, a campfire legend. Collectors told each other to keep the dream alive. The coin crossed the auction block, and the bids rose so quickly the auctioneer could barely keep up. 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, $250,000. People in the audience froze, eyes wide, hands shaking. Phones rang. Bidders whispered frantically into headsets. The entire room felt like it was holding its breath. When the hammer finally fell, the coin sold for nearly $1 million. And the world of coin collecting has never been the same. But here's where the story twists. That wasn't the only one. Silent, unnoticed, some of these coins slipped into circulation. They went into jars, into drawers, into pockets, into piggy banks. They've traveled across the country quietly, invisibly, hiding in plain sight. That means one of these coins could be in your home. But of course, there's a reason so many people miss it. You see, 1964 was a transition year. The U.S. Mint was under immense pressure. Coin shortages swept across the nation. People were hoarding coins. The mint was running day and night, machines striking millions upon millions of cents. But during that rush, during that frantic production, something entered the minting process that wasn't supposed to be there. Experts suspect that a small number of 1964 pennies were struck on leftover 95% copper planchets of unusually high quality, the type once used for proof production. Others believe some were struck with dies intended for proof coins, producing crisp details far beyond a standard circulation strike. Whatever the cause, the result is unmistakable. And this is where most people fail to recognize what's in their own hands, because the difference isn't immediately obvious. It's not a missing letter, not a double date, not a cracked die. No, the real key is purity, sharpness, finish, and strike. Something you can't see from a photo. Something you have to hold to truly feel. But before we get there, here's something that stunned collectors even more. Point one of these coins didn't come from a dealer. It didn't come from an inherited collection. It didn't come from some high-end investor's vault. It came from someone cleaning out their childhood bedroom. Just a dusty penny jar. A jar that had sat untouched for decades. A jar filled with coins worth 1 cent each. Something any of us could have. And buried inside it was the coin. A coin that turned that person's life upside down. One minute, they were sorting coins for fun. The next, they were holding a treasure worth more than $1 million. That discovery shook collectors everywhere. Because if it happened once, it could happen again. And now people are looking, searching, dreaming, hoping. This is the moment where the story becomes personal. Because you might already have one. You might have handled one and never realized it. You might have let one slip through your fingers years ago. The truth is almost haunting, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Because as collectors began searching and inspecting their 1964 pennies, another example surfaced. And then another. And another. They weren't common, far from it, but they were real. And every time one was confirmed, the frenzy grew. Dealers began offering huge premiums. Auction houses began issuing special announcements. Coin graders prepared under the highest security protocols. And collectors everywhere started checking their jars, their bags, their drawers, their pockets, their change bowls on the kitchen counter. So now, here's what you need to look for. Pick up your 1964 penny. No mint mark, because these came from Philadelphia. Flip it in the light. Do the surfaces look unusually smooth? Almost like a mirror, but not quite? Does the strike look razor sharp? Lincoln's hair, jacket folds, and the lettering on the reverse crisp and bold? That's your first clue. Next, examine the rim. A genuine high-grade, potentially extraordinary strike from this mysterious batch will have a strong, well-defined rim with clean, distinct separation from the design. Weak rims are common. Sharp rims are rare. Sharp rims mean something. Finally, condition is everything. These million-dollar examples were in nearly flawless preservation, almost untouched. No scratches, no circulation dents, no wear on the high points. Does that mean circulated coins are worthless? No. Even a circulated one can bring serious money if it shows the unusual strike and metal quality. But the life-changing ones, those are pristine. So check carefully. Check slowly. Take your time. Because this isn't just about money. This is about the possibility that something extraordinary has been hiding with you for years. The next collector who finds one could be anyone. Someone in a small town. Someone in a big city. Someone who's been collecting coins for decades. Or someone who just picked up a penny off the floor. And that brings us to the truth that keeps collectors searching year after year, coin after coin. Imagine holding a piece of history in your hand and realizing that what you thought was ordinary pocket change could actually transform your life overnight. This is the story of the 1977 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that collectors are calling one of the most shocking finds of the century. It all started with a simple trip to the corner store. A man, like millions of Americans, was rifling through his loose change. What he picked up seemed, at first, like just another penny. But something about this coin felt different. It wasn't until he examined it under a magnifying glass that the truth began to emerge. Hidden in plain sight was a minting anomaly that would soon make this tiny coin a million-dollar miracle. Collectors were shocked. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on any coin that matches this exact pattern. One man's pocket change became a life-changing fortune, and yet, most people would never even recognize the difference. The 1977 D. penny story isn't just about its face value. It's about a minting mistake, a forgotten misprint that went unnoticed for decades. The Denver Mint produced millions of pennies that year, but a very small batch contained subtle flaws that only the most eagle-eyed collectors could detect. And what happened next stunned the entire coin world, nearly $1.3 million. The room fell silent as the hammer came down. Collectors who had been following this coin for years couldn't believe it. Some said it was luck, others insisted it was destiny. But one thing was clear. This coin had captured the imagination of every serious collector in America. The flaw itself is almost invisible to the untrained eye. It's a doubling on the mint mark, subtle but unmistakable under magnification. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it completely. Dealers warn that even one misidentified penny could mean missing out on a fortune. The mystery deepens when you consider how many of these coins were likely lost or spent without a second thought. A few slipped through the cracks, ending up in jars, drawers, and coin rolls, never to be recognized. Every discovery of a 1977 D. penny with this rare error sends shockwaves through the collector community, but the story doesn't end there. Another auction, this time in California, revealed a collector who had been saving pennies for decades. He had hundreds of coins from the late 1970s, each one ordinary, until he noticed one that looked slightly different. Under close inspection, the penny revealed the same doubling on the D mint mark. When authenticated, its value soared to over $1 million. Suddenly, years of careful saving and attention to detail paid off in ways he had never imagined. collectors are learning that it's not just the mint mark that matters. The condition of the coin, its luster, and its history all contribute to its staggering value. A 1977 D penny in pristine condition, with that rare minting error, can command a price most people could only dream of. And yet, the coin is so small, so ordinary looking, that it's easy to overlook. Start by examining the D mint mark closely. Look for doubling, letters that appear thicker, shadows that hint at a hidden print beneath. Check the edges, the surface, the texture. Even the faintest anomaly could be the difference between an ordinary penny and $1 million treasure. But there's a catch. Many pennies are misidentified. Dealers warn that even experienced collectors sometimes miss this rare error. It requires patience, a keen eye, and the willingness to inspect every coin as if it could hold a secret fortune. Because in the case of the 1977 D Lincoln penny, that secret fortune is real, and it's worth over $1 million. Stories of discoveries continue to surface. One collector in Ohio recounted finding a penny while cleaning out a drawer. He thought it was just another coin until he noticed the strange doubling. Experts authenticated it, and he learned that he had a coin valued at $1.3 million. The emotions, the shock, the disbelief, all of it captured the thrill of discovering something truly life-changing hidden in plain sight. Imagine the excitement, the disbelief, the transformation that comes with holding a coin you once thought was worthless and realizing it could alter your life forever. That is the power of this rare 1977 D Lincoln penny. Every detail matters. Every anomaly counts. And every collector now knows that the next $1 million coin could be sitting in their own pocket change. Inspect your pennies carefully. Look for the double D mint mark. Study the surfaces. Compare with authentic examples. And always remember, this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand, a coin you've probably walked past countless times, and discovering it has the power to change your life forever. Collectors are stunned, dealers are scrambling, and one small coin has rewritten what people thought they knew about American pennies. It all started back in 1990 at the Denver Mint. The Lincoln penny was a familiar face, something Americans handled every day without a second thought. But that year, a subtle mistake slipped through the cracks, something almost no one noticed. A tiny anomaly in the striking process created a coin that would become one of the most sought-after pieces in modern numismatics. It was a minting error that seemed insignificant at first, but would eventually make headlines and turn pocket change into million-dollar treasure. Collectors who have handled these coins describe a feeling almost like magic. The moment you see it, something clicks. It's not just a penny anymore. It's a key to a hidden history, a secret the mint never intended for anyone to hold. This is why stories of lucky finds from garages, drawers, and loose change are now going viral. One man's mundane coin collection suddenly turned into a life-altering windfall when he discovered this very penny tucked between dimes. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Once these coins were authenticated, auction houses were flooded with calls. The value skyrocketed. Dealers who once ignored pennies now saw a golden opportunity. And here's the kicker. The difference that makes this penny worth over $1 million is almost invisible to the untrained eye. It's in the details, the subtle doubling of the date, the misalignment of the mint mark, the way light hits the obverse. Most people wouldn't notice, and yet, this tiny detail is the reason million-dollar collectors are chasing it like treasure hunters on a forgotten map. Imagine walking to the grocery store, dropping this coin in the parking lot, and thinking nothing of it. That's what makes this story so compelling. Ordinary people are living extraordinary moments because of a single penny. Dealers were shocked when one coin appeared at auction, its provenance verified, and the final hammer price left everyone speechless. That auction changed the rules. Suddenly, everyone knew the 1990 D Lincoln penny could be the key to unimaginable wealth, and yet, many collectors still miss it. This penny hides in plain sight. You could have it in your drawer, in your coin roll, even in your pocket. One slight detail separates it from the hundreds of ordinary pennies minted that year. This is why experts say, look for the mint mark closely, examine the strike carefully, and don't dismiss anything that seems slightly off. The smallest irregularity could mean the difference between a few cents and $1 million. One man's story became legend. He was a casual collector, someone who never imagined a single penny could reshape his life. He was sorting through a bag of change, something most of us do without a second thought, when his eye caught a faint anomaly near the mint mark. Something felt different. He took it to a dealer, thinking it might be worth a few dollars. The dealer's reaction was instant disbelief. That penny, sitting quietly in his hand, was confirmed as the extremely rare 1990 D error, worth over $1 million. Collectors were shaken. Dealers were on high alert. News spread like wildfire. Coin forums exploded with speculation, stories of missed opportunities, and debates over authentication. Every day, new searches began in homes across America. Basements were emptied, coin rolls were split open, and the hunt intensified. This penny had gone from overlooked change to the center of a national treasure hunt. The emotional pull of this coin is unlike anything else. It's not just money. It's a story, a mystery, a testament to patience and observation. When you hold one, you're not just holding metal. You're holding decades of history, an imprint of the mint's unintended imperfection, and the potential for life-changing fortune. One moment, it's just a penny. The next, it's your $1 million miracle. Here's the truth about identifying this coin. Look for the mint mark D for Denver, slightly shifted or doubled. Examine the date carefully for any doubling or irregularities. The strike on the obverse should have subtle variations in Lincoln's profile, small differences that a casual collector might overlook but are screamingly obvious to the trained eye. Avoid common mistakes. Don't confuse wear from circulation with mint error anomalies, and don't assume every 1990 D penny is rare. Only those with these precise features carry the staggering value of over $1 million. Imagine discovering this coin in a bag of pennies from your grandmother's kitchen. Imagine realizing that your small, forgotten collection could contain the very key to financial freedom. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle. Dealers are now paying top dollar. Collectors are racing to authenticate, and every penny in circulation is being scrutinized like never before. This is more than just a coin. It's a story of chance, timing, and hidden treasure. It's proof that fortune often hides where we least expect it. And the most incredible part? This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. You might be holding it in your pocket right now and not even know it. The 1981 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is one of the most mysterious, overlooked, and potentially life-changing coins hiding in plain sight. Collectors were stunned when one of these coins recently sold for nearly $1 million, and dealers are scrambling to find more. But what makes this ordinary copper disc so extraordinary? It all begins with a tiny minting oversight. In 1981, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies at Philadelphia and Denver. Every penny from Philadelphia should have been marked with AP, every penny from Denver with AD. But some coins slipped through the cracks, emerging without a mint mark at all. At first glance, they looked just like any other penny, unremarkable, ordinary. But for those who know the secret, these pennies are a hidden treasure. One collector, an everyday man who casually checked his change, discovered a coin that didn't have the mark it was supposed to. He initially thought it was a mistake, something insignificant. But when he showed it to an experienced dealer, the reaction was immediate shock. This coin, it's rare, extremely rare. That moment transformed a casual hobby into a life-changing revelation. That single penny became a $1 million miracle in the hands of the right collector. But here's where the story gets even stranger. These pennies were never meant to be rare. They weren't part of a special release or a commemorative series. They were production errors, tiny anomalies in a sea of millions. And yet, the coin world went wild. Auction houses listed similar pennies for eye-popping amounts, and suddenly, what had been overlooked became the most coveted find of the decade. Collectors were shocked, and some even questioned whether it could really be worth $1 million. But the proof was in the auction records, undeniable and staggering. Most people don't even realize they could be holding one. You might check your jar of loose change, dismissing the pennies as worthless, while one of these hidden gems lies beneath the surface. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on them, and every listing sparks intense bidding wars. One man's simple habit of saving coins became a story heard across the country, a reminder that fortune sometimes hides in the most mundane places. It's all in the details. The missing mint mark isn't just a trivial absence. It signifies a mistake at the heart of the minting process, something extremely rare in a year where over 1 billion pennies were struck. The tiny omission turns an otherwise ordinary coin into a piece of numismatic history. And that history is what collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. And the rarest versions, untouched and flawless, can command prices approaching $1 million. But spotting this coin isn't easy. Many collectors overlook it because it looks normal at first glance. You have to check carefully under good lighting. Compare the coin to a standard 1981 penny. Look closely at the space above Lincoln's shoulder where the mint mark should appear. If it's blank, congratulations, you may have stumbled upon one of the rarest coins of the 20th century. But beware of counterfeits. Some coins have been altered to remove mint marks, so check for uneven edges, suspicious scratches, or any signs of tampering. The real coin will show natural wear, consistent with its age, and a perfectly blank mint mark area. Collectors also look for the subtle characteristics of the strike itself. Genuine no-mint mark pennies have consistent metal flow and design details that match other Philadelphia pennies of 1981. Hold it at different angles in the light. A true rarity will reveal itself in the subtle luster and weight. Even small differences can mean the difference between an ordinary penny and one that could transform your financial life. Imagine the thrill of discovering this coin in a jar of forgotten pocket change. The excitement of realizing that what seemed like nothing is actually $1 million treasure. That's exactly what happened to countless collectors who stumbled upon their first 1981 no-mint mark penny. 1 minute, it's just a penny. The next, it's the centerpiece of an unbelievable story that could change your life forever, and the suspense doesn't stop there. Some collectors report finding these pennies in circulation even today. They're hidden, elusive, and often passed over by the untrained eye. But those who know the secret, who study the details, have a real shot at finding one. Every trip to the grocery store, every jar of change could hold a fortune, waiting to be discovered. First, look for the absence of a mint mark above Lincoln's shoulder. Second, examine the coin for natural wear and uniformity. It should match the weight and composition of a normal 1981 penny. Third, verify the strike characteristics, especially around Lincoln's bust and the word Liberty. If these match and the mint mark is genuinely missing, you could be holding a genuine rarity. And finally, have it professionally graded by a reputable numismatic service to confirm authenticity. The difference between an ordinary penny and $1 million treasure is verified certainty. This coin isn't just about money. It's about history, mystery, and the thrill of discovery. It reminds us that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures are hidden in the most ordinary places. That seemingly worthless coin in your pocket could be more valuable than you ever imagined. The story of the 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that luck, timing, and careful observation can converge to create something miraculous. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. One overlooked coin, one tiny omission, one moment of discovery, and your life could change forever. Collectors dream of this, dealers fight for it, and history remembers it. Don't dismiss your pocket change. Your next $1 million miracle might just be hiding in plain sight. A tiny piece of copper, ordinary at first glance, hiding a secret that could turn someone's pocket change into a life-changing fortune. And yet, almost no one knew it existed, until one collector stumbled upon it. It all began at the Denver Mint in 1994. That year, most pennies left the factory looking uniform, flawless, and boring. But amid the hum of machinery, a small mistake occurred. A planchet wasn't quite right, or perhaps a die struck harder than it should have. Whatever it was, it left a mark so subtle that to the untrained eye, it was invisible. But for those who knew what to look for, it was a signal of unimaginable value. Collectors were shocked when the first 1994 Lincoln penny with this unique anomaly appeared at auction. It wasn't just rare, it was revolutionary. People who had spent years hunting for a special penny suddenly realized that the coin hiding in someone's change could surpass anything they had ever dreamed of. One man's casual find at a yard sale turned into $1 million miracle. He bought a jar of old pennies for a few dollars, and when he pulled this coin out, the room went silent. The dealer examining it could hardly speak, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world. News spread like wildfire. A 1994 D penny could sell for up to $1.6 million. Suddenly, hobbyists and collectors alike were scrutinizing every penny in their change, desperate for that one coin that could change their lives. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on any unusual 1994 D pennies, fearing that someone would scoop up a fortune before they even had a chance to act. This coin's allure wasn't just about rarity. It was about the story it carried. The Denver Mint had quietly produced thousands of pennies, but only a handful carried the unique air that makes this coin extraordinary. It's like a secret whispered across decades, waiting for the right person to notice. One tiny detail, the way the mint mark is struck, slightly doubled or misaligned, is the key to its staggering value. And most people miss it entirely, passing these coins by in dimes, quarters, and pennies without a second glance. Imagine the thrill of holding a coin worth more than a house in your hand. Imagine the disbelief when someone tells you that your pocket change could be the difference between ordinary life and $1 million windfall. This isn't just a coin. It's a testament to patience, observation, and a little bit of luck. One man's casual habit of examining pennies became a historic moment in the coin collecting world. Collectors who recognized the coin instantly saw its potential. Auctions quickly escalated, and with every sale, the legend grew. Stories of missed opportunities became cautionary tales. A penny tossed into a piggy bank in 1994 could have made someone a millionaire by 2020. It's almost poetic. The smallest, most overlooked items sometimes hold the greatest treasures, but the coin world is unforgiving. Many think they have the special 1994 D penny, only to realize it's a near miss. It takes a trained eye to spot the anomalies that make this coin priceless. The mint mark might be slightly doubled. The strike might have an unusual texture. Even a small scratch or nick can make the difference between a rare gem and a common penny. One careless examination, one missed detail, and the fortune slips away. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Those who have seen it firsthand describe a rush unlike anything else in collecting. It's the kind of excitement that makes a person stop dead in their tracks, staring at a coin and realizing, this is it. This could change my life. And the discoveries keep coming. Even today, new 1994 D pennies surface in unexpected places. A jar of forgotten coins at a relative's house. A dusty roll tucked in a bank drawer. One collector's routine search in their own pocket change revealed a coin so extraordinary it made national headlines. Dealers scrambled. Experts confirmed the mint mark anomaly. The price? Over $1 million. Learning to identify this coin is crucial. Look for the D mint mark on the reverse side. Examine it under bright light and a magnifying glass. Check for subtle doubling or off-center strikes. Pay attention to the details on Lincoln's bust. Sometimes, slight die errors near the date or the rim indicate an authentic $1 million coin. Avoid coins with obvious wear or damage. These details separate a fortune from an ordinary penny. Every second you delay could be the moment someone else discovers what might have been yours. The story of the 1994 D Lincoln penny isn't just about money. It's about legacy, luck, and the thrill of discovery. People who once discarded pennies now handle them with reverence, knowing that a single coin could transform a life overnight. Imagine holding this coin, feeling the weight of its history, knowing that in your hands is a treasure almost everyone overlooked. The excitement of identifying a genuine 1994 D-era penny is unlike any other. Your pulse races. Your mind imagines the possibilities. And somewhere, someone is dreaming about that very moment. The moment their pocket change becomes a $1 million miracle. Collectors have learned that patience is everything. Rushing can mean missing the tiny details that make this coin extraordinary. Examining every penny, being vigilant for anomalies, and trusting your instincts can lead to life-changing discoveries. The 1994 D Lincoln penny isn't just rare. It's a testament to paying attention, staying curious, and believing that incredible luck can find even the most ordinary people. And now, the most important part, spotting it. Focus on the date and the D mint mark. Look for doubled dies, misalignments, or unusual textures. Compare it to verified examples online or in a trusted coin guide. Every line, every detail matters. This is the difference between a collectible and a coin worth over $1 million. stories of discovery keep collectors on their toes. People find pennies in the strangest places, under couch cushions, in old jars, or tucked into drawers. One man's casual routine of examining coins led him to a 1994 D penny that sold for over $1 million. It's a reminder that fortune often hides in plain sight, waiting for the patient, observant, and lucky. Imagine a tiny, copper-plated piece of history, no bigger than the tip of your finger, transforming someone's life forever. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, and it all started with a simple trip to the grocery store. It was a normal day when a collector named Robert reached into his change jar. Most people toss these pennies without a second thought. But Robert's keen eye noticed something strange, a glint that didn't belong. It was an ordinary 1984 penny, or so it seemed. Hidden within its familiar copper surface was a minting mistake so rare that the coin world collectively gasped when it first appeared at auction. Dealers scrambled, collectors whispered, and the value skyrocketed beyond anyone's imagination. It's not just a penny. It's a secret story from the Denver Mint, a place buzzing with the clatter of presses striking billions of coins every year. Somewhere in 1984, amid the hum of machinery, a penny slipped through with a subtle yet shocking imperfection. A double die on the obverse made Abraham Lincoln's face appear almost three-dimensional, as if frozen in time. Some say the mint workers didn't even notice. Others claim it was tucked away, waiting for the right eyes to discover it decades later. Collectors were shocked when the first auction lot sold for over $500,000. The phone lines lit up. Emails flew. News spread like wildfire through the coin community. One small, forgotten penny had shattered expectations. And the most unbelievable part? Thousands of people had these coins sitting unnoticed in their jars, their pockets, and even on old coin rolls at the bank. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Experts discovered that the doubling wasn't obvious to the casual observer. You had to hold the coin just right, under the perfect lighting, to see the raised lettering doubling on Lincoln's shoulder and across the date. Those who had the patience and sharp eyes became overnight millionaires, while others kept their coins in drawers, unaware of the fortune they held. Imagine the tension as Robert realized he might have stumbled onto something life-changing. He checked online forums, studied images, and compared every detail of his penny. His heart raced as he read stories of previous discoveries, some worth hundreds of thousands, others crossing the $1 million mark. And there it was, unmistakable, the 1984 D. Lincoln penny with a rare double die error. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin. In a market saturated with ordinary pennies, this tiny copper piece suddenly became a treasure everyone wanted. Auction houses were calling collectors directly. Private sales erupted in secret. The rumor mill exploded, and every collector knew one thing. Missing this coin could mean missing a life-changing windfall. This penny is more than just copper. It's a piece of history frozen in a moment of minting accident, a whisper of the past that turned into modern-day fortune. Its story is a reminder that incredible things can hide in plain sight, that the mundane, coins we drop on counters every day, can hold secrets worth millions of dollars, and the emotional pull is undeniable. Picture someone, maybe even you, sifting through loose change and realizing what they're holding. The disbelief, the excitement, the thought that a single penny could alter the course of their life. That's exactly what happened for Robert and countless other lucky collectors who found theirs in the right moment. Here's how to spot this exact coin. Look closely at the date, the D mint mark, and Lincoln's bust. The doubling is subtle, mostly on the lettering and the top of Lincoln's shoulder. Avoid coins that are heavily worn or cleaned, because the doubling could be erased or obscured. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and study online references to compare shapes and spacing. Patience is key. This is a treasure that rewards careful observation, but beware of common mistakes. Many people confuse regular wear or scratches with the double die effect. Some pennies have minor imperfections, but only the authentic 1984 D. Lincoln double die carries that unmistakable raised, split look across the date and lettering. One false step could cost thousands in missed value. Collectors often tell stories of near misses. Someone finds a roll of pennies, and just as they toss the first few, they notice a glint. That split-second recognition has turned ordinary people into millionaires. And it could happen to anyone, right now. The thrill of discovery is electric. Imagine holding a penny, examining its surface, and realizing the history and rarity embedded in its metal. That feeling, the adrenaline, the disbelief, the hope, is what drives collectors to study every coin with obsession. In the 1984, D. Lincoln penny offers that thrill unlike any other coin minted in modern history. One of the most fascinating aspects of this penny is how it escaped notice for decades. Millions of pennies were struck in 1984, yet only a handful carried the doubling. The odds of finding one are astronomical, yet history shows that patience and diligence can pay off in unimaginable ways. Collectors are sharing stories of their discoveries in forums, videos, and newsletters. Each story brings a new layer of suspense, from someone finding theirs in a box from a grandparent, to another discovering one tucked in an old coin album, forgotten for years. The sheer randomness of who finds it next makes the hunt electrifying. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now. The one that turns ordinary pocket change into $1 million treasure. The one that could make a lifelong dream come true. Every collector knows that moment. The instant when a coin transforms from metal into destiny. Next time you dig through loose change, remember the story of the 1984 D. Lincoln penny. Study it, compare it, and imagine the possibilities. The history, the rarity, the incredible luck, it's all wrapped up in this tiny copper disc. And one lucky collector will walk away with a fortune that once seemed impossible. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Imagine holding a tiny copper disc in your hand and realizing it could change your life forever. It seems impossible, but for one lucky collector, a simple 1982 D. Lincoln penny turned pocket change into $1 million miracle. The story begins in a dusty coin shop in the Midwest. A man named Harold was sifting through a jar of ordinary pennies when something caught his eye. At first glance, it seemed like just another 1982 penny. But there was something unusual. The D mint mark seemed slightly off, as if it had been stamped with a secret only the most attentive eyes could catch. Collectors were shocked when Harold took it to an expert. What they found was astonishing. This penny was part of a tiny batch of coins with a hidden minting error, an error that nearly went unnoticed for decades. Most people pass by these coins without a second thought, unaware that a fortune could be hiding in their change. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. The coin was sent to auction, and bids started pouring in from every corner of the country. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on this penny. It was almost surreal. One man's pocket change became $1 million treasure right before their eyes. The 1982 D. Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a whisper from history. You see, during this year, the U.S. Mint was transitioning from copper to zinc. A very small percentage of pennies were struck with unusual errors in the process. The result? Coins that, at first glance, seemed ordinary but held secrets worth millions of dollars. These coins aren't just sitting in museums or in private collections. Many are still hiding in drawers, jars, and forgotten wallets across the country. That means your own pocket change could be hiding a life-altering secret. But here's the kicker. Not every 1982 D penny is valuable. There's a subtle detail that collectors around the world obsess over. It's all in the mint mark. Some of these pennies were struck with a double die effect, others with a misplaced D stamp. And these tiny, almost invisible differences can mean the difference between a penny worth a few cents and a coin worth over $1 million. Imagine the suspense when Harold discovered his penny. The edges were slightly irregular. The D mint mark was perfectly positioned but slightly raised, and the copper zinc mixture was just enough to make it rare. When he held it under a magnifying glass, he could hardly believe what he was seeing. At auction, the bids escalated faster than anyone expected. Every collector in the room knew the significance of this penny. It was the kind of coin that could make headlines overnight, the kind of find that legends are made of. And then, the hammer fell. Just like that, a seemingly ordinary penny became a life-changing treasure. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The way the D mint mark sits, the slight difference in color, the weight and thickness of the coin. Every element tells a story. And for those who know, it's enough to make a penny worth more than the annual salary of most Americans. You might be thinking this is just luck, but there's more to it than that. Coin collectors know how to spot the subtle patterns that the mint never intended. It's about paying attention, knowing history, and having the patience to search through thousands of coins until the miracle penny reveals itself. Dealers around the world have started checking every batch of 1982D pennies they can get their hands on. Some have even hired teams of experts to comb through coins, looking for the exact error. Why? Because this coin isn't just valuable. It's legendary. And the value only grows as more collectors discover the secret. Imagine finding one in your change at the grocery store, or in a drawer you haven't opened in years. Your hands tremble as you hold it, realizing this tiny penny could make you a millionaire. The thought alone is enough to make your heart race, and that's the beauty of this coin. It's not flashy, it's not gold-plated, it's just a small piece of history with a secret waiting to be revealed. One man's ordinary pocket change became a story told around the world, a symbol of patience, attention, and the thrill of discovery. First, check the D mint mark. Look for irregularities, doubling, or unusual positioning. Compare the thickness to other 1982 pennies and notice the color. Some are copper, some zinc. The rare million-dollar ones often have a distinct, almost imperceptible difference. Use a magnifying glass and look carefully. This is where the magic reveals itself. Be aware of common mistakes. Not every 1982D penny with a slightly off mint mark is valuable. Many are simply worn, corroded, or misaligned. The key is precision, the kind only experienced collectors can truly appreciate. Collectors often tell stories of the thrill of discovery, the moment when a penny in their hand suddenly feels like a portal to unimaginable wealth. This coin is proof that patience, curiosity, and knowledge can turn something ordinary into a miracle. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. The possibility is real. The secret is there. You just have to know where to look and what to look for. Harold's story is more than a collector's dream. It's a lesson in paying attention, trusting your instincts, and never overlooking the small things. A tiny, forgotten penny became a symbol of hope, a tangible reminder that treasures often hide in the most unexpected places. Millions of collectors are now chasing similar pennies, but very few will find them. That's what makes this coin so special. It's not just about money. It's about discovery, history, and the thrill of holding a miracle in your hand. When you go through your pocket change, don't rush. Don't ignore the pennies at the bottom of the jar. One of them could be extraordinary. One of them could be the 1982D Lincoln penny worth over $1 million. Remember, history doesn't always wait for the prepared. Sometimes, it sits quietly in your pocket, in a drawer, or in a forgotten jar. And when you finally notice, when you finally hold that penny in your hand, the world changes in an instant. This coin almost ended up in the trash, but it became a story that will be told for generations. One man's ordinary pocket change became a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And your own $1 million miracle could be waiting for you right now. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that was nearly forgotten by the mint, overlooked by collectors, and yet, it carries the power to change someone's life forever. That's exactly what the 1981 D. Lincoln penny represents. A hidden treasure hiding in plain sight. It all started with a batch of pennies that the U.S. Mint didn't intend to make special. In 1981, a minting error occurred at the Denver Mint that produced a small number of pennies with an unusual doubling of the date and the mint mark. At first glance, they looked normal, identical to the pennies you might find at the bottom of your pocket change. But for those who knew where to look, a tiny detail would reveal a coin that could be worth millions. Collectors were shocked when the first of these coins surfaced at a small local coin show. No one believed it at first. A man brought a handful of pennies to a dealer, thinking he was just showing some ordinary coins. The dealer noticed the unusual doubling and immediately realized this was not a normal penny. News spread like wildfire in the coin community. This tiny copper disc could command a price that few had ever imagined, a price that would eventually reach over $1 million. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. The rarity of the 1981 D penny wasn't just about its minting error. It was the story of survival. Many of these pennies were melted down, lost, or spent unknowingly. Only a small fraction survived in collectible condition. Every penny that remained had the potential to be the $1 million coin. And as word got out, dealers and collectors began scouring banks, pockets, and coin jars, hoping to stumble upon this elusive treasure. One man's discovery turned an ordinary errand into a life-changing moment. He found a 1981 D penny at a garage sale, tucked away in a faded envelope. At first, he didn't think much of it, but curiosity got the better of him. When he took it to a dealer, his casual find became a headline in the coin world. That penny, once forgotten, was now valued at more than $1 million. Imagine that. Pocket change transforming into a fortune with just a sharp eye and a little knowledge. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The doubling on the date and mint mark isn't always obvious. You have to look closely under magnification. Some coins have subtle doubling, barely noticeable to the untrained eye. Others are dramatic, impossible to miss. But even the subtle ones can command incredible sums. That's the hidden power of the 1981 D Lincoln penny, a coin that looks ordinary but hides extraordinary value. Collectors who know this secret are ruthless. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on every potential find. Auctions have seen these pennies sell for hundreds of thousands, climbing ever higher as the rarity becomes more apparent. The suspense builds with each discovery. Every new find reignites hope for those still searching through rolls of pennies. You could be holding a coin that will make headlines tomorrow, and the story doesn't end there. In 2018, one particularly sharp-eyed collector noticed a subtle doubling on a coin that had been in circulation for decades. The coin had survived countless exchanges, pockets, and cash registers, yet it retained a hidden secret. Once authenticated, it sold for over $1 million at auction, proving that even the most ordinary-looking coins can hide unimaginable value. Every collector learned a vital lesson that day: never underestimate pocket change. First, check the mint mark. The Denver D is the key. Next, look closely at the date and mint mark for any doubling. Sometimes the numbers appear thicker or slightly offset. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Compare your coin to verified images online or from trusted coin guides. Be wary of counterfeit or altered coins. Authentication from a professional grading service is essential before even dreaming of selling. But even beyond the technical details, there's something magical about the 1981 D Lincoln penny. It's a symbol of possibility, a reminder that incredible treasures can be hiding in the most mundane places. That ordinary coins, once overlooked, can transform lives. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle. And yours could too. Imagine walking through your house, looking through old jars, coin purses, and drawers. That unassuming penny in the corner of your desk might just be the one. Each coin has a story, each imperfection a clue. And for those who understand, that story can become a legend, a tale of a humble penny that defied odds to become worth over $1 million. You might have passed one by without a second thought, thinking it was just another ordinary penny, yet hidden in plain sight is a coin that could transform someone's life overnight. One small Lincoln penny, minted in 1982 without a mint mark, is quietly causing collectors to lose their minds. Dealers are scrambling, auctions are exploding, and the story behind this coin reads like a real-life treasure hunt that it all begins with a little-known minting anomaly. In 1982, the United States Mint was in a hurry, transitioning from copper to zinc pennies. That year, some coins were struck without the usual mint mark, making them extremely rare. Most people assume all Lincoln pennies look alike, but this subtle detail, invisible to the untrained eye, can turn a piece of pocket change into a life-altering fortune. One collector, digging through decades of change, stumbled upon this exact coin in a small stack of loose pennies. At first, he didn't think much of it. It looked ordinary, familiar even. But the moment he turned it over, something clicked. Collectors were shocked when the first auction of this coin went live. Bidders began at a modest few $100s, expecting a nice addition to a collection, not the chance to grab a piece worth over $1 million. But as the auction heated up, phones rang off the hook, emails flooded in, and in a matter of hours, the coin changed hands for a staggering amount. One man's pocket change had become a $1 million miracle. It wasn't just the rarity that made it valuable. It was the story, the mystery, the history etched into that tiny copper and zinc disc. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Another collector, unaware of the previous auction, had a penny from 1982 sitting in a jar at home. He casually showed it to a dealer at a coin show, expecting a polite nod and maybe a few dollars. The dealer froze. The coin had no mint mark. It matched the rare variety. The excitement in the room was electric. People realized these pennies were hiding in everyday circulation, in drawers, jars, even under couch cushions. The possibility that anyone could be holding a coin worth $1 million right now sent shockwaves across the collecting community. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The no-mint mark 1982 penny looks almost identical to the common copper pennies minted that same year. Its difference is subtle. The absence of the mint mark, a tiny but critical feature, tells the story of a coin that was never meant to be rare. Add to that the timing of the transition to zinc, and suddenly you have a perfect storm. A coin that was nearly forgotten by history, but now commands unimaginable value. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins, knowing that each one could be the difference between a modest collection and a life-changing windfall. The thrill of finding one is almost indescribable. Imagine holding a coin in your hand, flipping it over, and realizing it could be worth more than your car. One collector described it as a heart-stopping moment, a surge of adrenaline like discovering hidden treasure in your own backyard. People who thought their days of excitement were behind them were suddenly thrown back into a world of possibility. The 1982 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a ticket to a story you'll tell for the rest of your life. The number of surviving coins is extremely low. Mint records show only a small batch were created without a mint mark before the transition to zinc. That means the next time you reach into a jar of pennies, the odds are slim, but not zero, that one of them could be $1 million find. This scarcity adds another layer of intensity. Collectors are obsessed, checking change, scanning coin rolls, and searching estate sales, because each overlooked penny is potentially a jackpot. One man's search lasted years before he found a single example. He had grown up around coins, helped his father sort through collections, and yet had never seen anything like this. Then, one ordinary afternoon, he tipped a handful of pennies onto the counter and froze. Among the dull copper coins, one gleamed with promise. He picked it up, turned it in the light, and knew instantly. The absence of the mint mark was undeniable. It was rare, precious, and life-changing. He couldn't believe the luck of stumbling upon such a coin in the most mundane way possible, through his own pocket change. But the story doesn't end there. When that coin hit the market, it triggered a wave of new collectors entering the hobby, each with dreams of discovering their own hidden treasure. Auctions were flooded with bids, online forums erupted in speculation, and suddenly, a coin once deemed ordinary became the ultimate obsession. People shared stories, tips, and even near misses where someone had almost thrown one away, realizing too late that they had held a fortune in their hands. 1982. Next, examine the area where the mint mark would normally appear, just below the date on the obverse side. If there's no D or S, you found a candidate. Pay attention to color and metal composition. 1982 pennies exist in both copper and zinc varieties, and the no-mint mark version can be one or the other, but either could be worth serious money depending on condition. Avoid the common mistake of dismissing it as ordinary. What looks like a small detail is the key to unlocking millions. Hold it up to the light, inspect carefully, and remember, even small scratches or where can affect value, so handle with care. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. The thrill, the suspense, the life-changing potential, all condensed into a tiny coin you may have overlooked for years. Imagine discovering it, holding it, and realizing that something so small could have such an enormous impact on your life. The story of the 1982 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny reminds us that treasure doesn't always wait for the elite collector or the lucky dealer. It can hide in plain sight, right in your pocket change, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Imagine holding a penny in your hand, a coin so ordinary it could slip through your fingers without a second thought, and yet, hidden in plain sight, it carries the power to change a life forever. This is not just any penny. This is the 1990 no-mint Mark Lincoln set, a coin that has collectors across the country chasing shadows, whispering secrets of $1 million fortune. It started as an ordinary day for a retired postal worker named George. He was emptying his pockets, tossing change into a jar he'd had for decades, when one penny caught his eye. It didn't shine like gold, nor did it look especially rare. Yet something about it whispered, "Pay attention." Little did George know that penny would soon become the stuff of legend. Collectors were shocked when the penny surfaced at a small local auction. The moment it was placed under the light, experts noticed a detail most people miss. The mint mark was absent. In 1990, nearly every Lincoln penny was stamped with either a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But this one was unmarked, as if it had slipped through the minting process entirely unnoticed. It was a hidden mistake that had survived decades, quietly waiting to be discovered. A single coin like this could fetch over $1 million. And it's not just the missing mint mark. Look closer, and you'll see tiny anomalies in the die that produced this penny. Faint doubling on Lincoln's profile, an unusual texture on the reverse, and subtle spacing differences in the lettering. These are the clues experts used to separate ordinary change from history-making treasure. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. George couldn't believe it himself. He had been planning to use the pennies in his jar for a hobby project, maybe some crafts or donations, when a coin collector visiting from out of state spotted the anomaly. That collector didn't just glance. He studied every angle, waited, compared it to reference books, and then whispered words George would never forget. "This is worth millions." But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. The penny went to auction, and what started as a modest bid spiraled into a frenzy. Collectors who had spent decades hunting rare Lincoln cents suddenly realized that this tiny, unassuming coin could outshine them all. In just a few minutes, the gavel fell, and the penny sold for an amount that could fund a lifetime of dreams, a staggering near $1 million. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. It's not just the missing mint mark. Experts know that only pennies struck with flawless alignment and surviving die anomalies carry this level of value. Even a minor scratch or unnoticed dent can strip a coin of its incredible worth. That's why identifying a genuine 1990 no mint mark Lincoln penny requires more than luck. It demands knowledge, attention, and a bit of detective work. Ordinary penny becomes $1 million miracle. Suddenly, every coin jar, every forgotten drawer, every pocket change container in America was scrutinized. George's story doesn't end there. He spent weeks learning about grading, preservation, and authentication. Dealers offered him fortunes for the penny, but he carefully navigated the process, ensuring the coin would be recognized for its full value. It was a lesson in patience and expertise, proving that sometimes life-changing treasure isn't just about luck. It's about knowing what to look for, and there's more. Even seasoned collectors often overlook how subtle this coin's features are. The missing mint mark isn't a gaping hole. It's a whisper on the coin's surface, a faint absence that requires careful lighting and inspection to notice. The double die details are microscopic, only visible under a loupe or magnifying glass. Miss it, and the coin is just another penny. Spot it, and you're staring at the possibility of $1 million. Imagine the excitement as George realized what he was holding. This was no ordinary collector's item. This was proof that history sometimes hides in the smallest, most mundane places. A coin minted over 30 years ago, overlooked by countless hands, now had the power to redefine a life. Every scratch and mark told a story. Every absence of a letter or number screamed value to those who knew how to see it. But it doesn't stop with discovery. Proper handling and certification are key. Coins like this must be sent to recognized grading services to confirm authenticity. A genuine 1990 no mint mark Lincoln penny graded at the highest level can easily command over $1 million, while a misidentified coin could fetch only a fraction. Knowledge, precision, and timing are everything in this game of hidden treasure. The answer came when the auction closed. The room erupted. Experts confirmed the authenticity. Collectors celebrated. And George, a man who once barely noticed the pennies jingling in his pockets, suddenly became part of an exclusive story, a living testament to fortune hiding in the smallest things. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now. Maybe you have it tucked behind old coins in a jar, in your glove compartment, or in a forgotten pocket. The clues are subtle. A Lincoln penny minted in 1990, completely lacking a mint mark, with faint die anomalies on both sides. That combination transforms an everyday coin into an artifact worth over $1 million. Now, imagine the moment when you recognize it. The rush, the disbelief, the quiet thrill of knowing you've found something extraordinary. It's not just a coin. It's a symbol of possibility, proof that life-changing treasure can appear when you least expect it. Collectors dream of these moments. Dealers covet them. And history whispers their secrets only to those willing to pay attention. Start by inspecting the obverse. Lincoln's profile should be crisp, yet look for the subtle double die lines along the jaw and cheek. Check the date, 1990. No mint mark should appear near the date. On the reverse, examine the lettering and spacing in 1 cent and United States of America. Authentic coins will display minute inconsistencies invisible to the casual eye, tiny fingerprints of a minting error that survived 30-plus years. Remember, even seasoned collectors can miss these features. A scratch, a faded mark, or improper lighting can disguise the coin's true nature. Patience is essential, and once identified, authentication through a reputable grading service ensures your discovery will be recognized worldwide, commanding the highest value. Point one last time. Imagine it. Your pocket change transformed into $1 million miracle. A coin that could fund dreams, secure a future, or make history. A 1990 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is not just metal and ink. It is a story, a secret, and a fortune, all waiting for the right eyes to uncover it. Imagine holding a coin that looks like any other penny, tucked in your pocket or hiding in a jar of change on your counter. Yet it could turn into a fortune that most people only dream about. This isn't a story about fantasy. It's real, and it involves one of the most astonishing coin finds in modern history. The 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. It all starts with a mistake. A tiny, almost invisible error during the minting process that nearly went unnoticed. Most people see a 1987 penny and think nothing of it. But collectors know better. Hidden in plain sight, this penny carries a secret that could be worth over $1 million. Dealers who study coins for a living were stunned when the first of these turned up. And what happened next changed the coin world forever. A retired schoolteacher from Ohio was the first to discover it, completely by accident. He was sorting through a box of old pennies he had collected over decades. Most were ordinary, forgotten, tossed in jars and drawers. But one penny looked different. He didn't know it at the time, but that one simple coin would change his life. He had stumbled on a coin with a no-mint mark, a feature so rare that it instantly drew the attention of experts. When the coin was authenticated, collectors were shocked. It wasn't just rare because of the missing mint mark. It was rare because of a hidden die error that only appeared on a handful of pennies that year. The details were so subtle that a casual glance wouldn't reveal them. But once experts examined it under magnification, they could see the tiny, almost invisible flaw that made this coin extraordinary. And as word spread, the bidding wars began. Dealers from across the country were rushing to get their hands on it. Some offered 6 figures just for the chance to examine it closely. What seemed like a humble Lincoln penny suddenly became a symbol of possibility, a coin that could turn someone's life upside down. And here's the twist. The vast majority of people had no idea it even existed. It was hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right person to recognize its value. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. At auction, the penny didn't just sell, it shattered expectations. From ordinary pocket change, it became $1 million treasure overnight. One man's decades of collecting, and one single coin that most people would dismiss as worthless, turned into a story that collectors talk about to this day. The emotional impact was undeniable. There were tears. There were gasps. People who had spent their lives searching for rare coins knew they were witnessing history. This wasn't an isolated incident. Since that first discovery, more examples of the 1987 no-mint mark penny have surfaced, each one sparking a frenzy in the collector community. Every time one appears, it ignites the same excitement, the same hope, the same belief that ordinary change could hold extraordinary value. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. It's not just the missing mint mark. It's the alignment, the subtle die flaw, the way the penny catches the light at just the right angle. Every aspect of the coin matters. The texture, the weight, even the way the edges curve, it all contributes to its value. Collectors have spent years perfecting their ability to spot these features, And now you can 2.1 man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. He had no idea what he was holding until experts told him. And in that moment, his life changed. The excitement, the disbelief, the exhilaration of knowing that something he had casually collected could be worth over $1 million. It's the kind of story that keeps collectors searching, keeps dealers on edge, and keeps millions of pennies circulating in hope. The coin you're holding today could be the next one. Maybe it's in your jar of pennies. Maybe it's in the cup on your desk. Maybe it's buried in a drawer where you haven't looked in years. And all it takes is a careful eye and the knowledge of what to look for. Here's how you identify the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny. First, look for the absence of the mint mark under the date. That tiny space, where a letter usually appears, is where the magic begins. Then examine the coin for unusual die flaws. These are slight imperfections on the face of Lincoln's profile that are incredibly rare. Check the edges for subtle doubling or irregularities and observe the shine and coloration. Many people make the mistake of assuming every 1987 penny is ordinary. They miss the subtle details that turn a common coin into $1 million marvel. Collectors who understand this coin's history are feverish for it. Dealers are watching every sale, every online auction, and every estate sale. The stakes are high because the potential is enormous. And you don't need a professional collection to find one. You just need awareness, attention to detail, and a little luck. What makes this coin even more fascinating is its story of survival. Most pennies from 1987 were spent, lost, or destroyed. Only a handful carry this unique no mint mark error. That rarity combined with its perfect condition makes it one of the most sought-after coins of modern times. Every time one appears, it's as if history itself is whispering, "Look closer. Treasure is waiting." Collectors were shocked when the first few pennies sold for six figures. When the bidding escalated, it became clear this was no ordinary coin. The record-breaking auctions made headlines in the coin community and beyond. Experts now warn collectors to check their change carefully because anyone could be holding a small fortune without knowing it. Imagine the thrill of discovery. Imagine picking up a penny from a jar, brushing off the dust, and realizing it's a 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that could be worth over $1 million. That exact feeling, excitement, disbelief, hope, is what drives collectors to sift through drawers, boxes, and rolls of pennies every day. This coin is so rare, so coveted, that even minor mistakes in identification can cost you millions. Always consult experts if you think you found one. Compare it with authenticated examples. Look for the missing mint mark, the subtle die flaw, the exact curvature of the lettering and design. Every detail counts, because one tiny oversight could mean the difference between an ordinary penny and $1 million treasure. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Every day, collectors discover that life-changing coins are closer than they think. The 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It's a symbol of possibility, a reminder that incredible fortune can be hiding in the simplest of places, waiting for someone with the eyes to see it and the courage to take a moment to look at the coins around you. Handle them carefully. Inspect them, because somewhere, maybe in your own collection, maybe in your pocket change, $1 million miracle might be waiting to be found. And when you spot it, when you recognize it for the treasure it truly is, you'll know why collectors call the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny one of the most exciting, inspiring, and potentially life-changing coins of our time.